Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Spencer Daily Reporter's 5 Questions With. This week we're fortunate opportunity to sit down with Superintendent Greg Ebeling, who is on his way out as the leader of the Spencer High School and grade school and middle school administration. Ebeling has been here for several years, has battled some big budget issues. They've come out of it. The district is stronger for what it's gone through, and Greg, along with the board, big parts of making those things happen. Now in his final month here with Spencer, about final month I guess, by the time he gets through and the year's over and getting ready to make way for the new superintendent. Greg talks a little bit today about what he's enjoyed about his stay here, the reasons he's leaving, things that he wished he could have seen completed, as well as the future and what it holds here for the Spencer Community School District. We've got the interview with Greg right now. Well, Greg, just want to tell you thank you for the opportunity to sit down and visit with you. I know you're probably pretty hectic between wrapping up things on this end and looking forward to the new position in Pella that you've got coming up here just around the corner. Right. We had a few tough years here, a stretch that you kind of inherited, went through some tough years, tough number years where we didn't have the funds that we had. You and the board did a really good job of getting things turned around. Now we're kind of on an upswing, and this is the opportunity to decide to step out and make a move. What prompted the change, the transition to Pella?
You know, there's multiple things. I've been kind of a person that likes to be involved in lots of different state level organizations, and so between the School Board Association, between the school administrators of Iowa, and then another group that's also called the Iowa School Finance Leadership Consortium. 3 groups that I belong and are a part of those. And so all those meetings tend to be in Des Moines. They tend to be, they have conferences there that's where all the teaching and stuff takes place. And so in several of those cases, I've been asked to teach some different things and do some different things, but it always pulls me to Des Moines. And so what's happened is I end up going to Des Moines between 3 to 6 times a month. Many of those sometimes are overnight. It's a lot, and I have a young family, and because of my young family, there's times where they don't see Dad for a day or two, and I really don't like that very well. So in the end, I just decided I needed to get, if I was going to continue with those organizations, I needed to get somewhere closer. So that was one reason. The other reason is kind of my long-range career goals. Long term, I don't see myself being a superintendent forever. I would really like to teach something in higher ed someday, maybe principal training or superintendent training, and kind of actually be more of a teacher again. But to do that, you have to have basically more credentials. So I probably need to get my doctorate. I need to get that done. Being closer to Des Moines gives me a couple options, either at Iowa State or Drake or Iowa. I don't know which direction I'm going to go yet, but those are all going to be within an hour, hour and a half drive, which for me here, it's not as convenient. There's online things and there's stuff that you could do that way, but I've just never felt like that's the direction I'd want to go. So kind of those reasons, mostly professional. I've always said if I could just take Spencer and pick it up and dump it about 45 minutes from Des Moines, I never would have been looking at a different job, because I really liked it here. It's been a great fit for my family, and this community has been very good to be a part of. And so it's not about Spencer as much as it is about me trying to position myself where long term I feel like it's where I need to be.
Okay, this is kind of a 2-part question. How long have you been here? How many years have you been in Spencer? And secondly, what do you see as having been some of your most successful endeavors here, things that you'll remember from your tenure here?
Well, this is my 7th year. So in June, I will have officially, I moved to Spencer 7 years ago in June. And so just completing my 7th year. And when I look back on the last 7 years, there's lots of different things I think about. Unfortunately, the budget part of it was a big deal. I am proud of the way the board and the district has been able to move forward with that, and we have some positive direction. And I feel like the finances are in good shape in Spencer, and they'll be well set up for the future because of that. But probably more than that, it's really more, for me, more about what I feel like is an organization that's working pretty well together. I feel like from the teacher associates to the secretaries to the custodians through the teacher ranks all the way to the administration, I think people get along and work really well together in this district. So kind of a collaborative spirit of people. And I think that's not something I felt real strong when I first came, and I think that's been built up over the last 7 years. And so people generally are working hard together, not in isolation. It's not us versus them or those types of things. It's more of a spirit where people are trying to do things together and kind of put the collective mind together to make Spencer better. So that's probably one of the things I'm most proud of, is that I feel there's a good relationship between all different groups of people that work in the system, and we all are working kind of for the same goals.
Obviously, leaving, there's some things that maybe you would have liked to have been able to see through, or
Right.
things that you wanted to do that just time is going to create that roadblock for you. What are some of those things that you would like to have been able to see accomplished that maybe didn't get done?
Yeah, well, certainly our facility things, I would like to have continued to see those things through. You know, we've got the 6th grade pod, we've got the security entrances for the elementary buildings, we've got new bleachers at the football field and in the field house. Some of those things that it would have been fun to see those actually be built and get finished, since I'm kind of on the planning end of it. So those are some pretty neat things that I think will enhance our district. I also think that the district eventually is going to need to look at their grade structure and how that eventually all comes together. I still think that's kind of just a thing that's lingering out there. Some of the teachers are seeing more and more the benefit of working together with their grade level partners and team members. And so that's something I know that the district's going to have to take on, and it would have been nice to be a part of that. But you know, there's always going to be those things, Randy, that you have to basically let go of and let somebody else carry the ball, no matter when that happens. So even though I feel like there's things that I certainly would have kept myself very busy with if I would have stayed, I think it's that the planning's in place where that some of those things will be able to go on without me, and we've got other good people in place to make sure those things are planned for and taken care of. So.
With yourself and now Board President Todd Corbett, who's been able to take a nice job, but unfortunately in the Wisconsin area, which will pull him away from here eventually. With both of you guys leaving, what kind of challenges does that present to the districts in terms of continuity?
Yeah, it does. We've got a really strong board. They understand the goals and kind of the direction we're going and some of the challenges ahead. And with Todd gone, of course, he's provided good leadership at the board table. We have some other good board members that I know will step in and provide some of that same leadership for the board. And certainly with the handoff to the new superintendent, Terry Heeman, I'm going to be working with him for a few different days in the next coming weeks. He's going to come actually in May a couple days and visit with me, and then maybe again in June. So it'll really give us an opportunity to try to hand things off as smoothly as possible. There's some other good people in place on the administrative team that will also help, inform and help see things through. So it is a challenge when you have a change of leadership. It's kind of an interesting time how that transition kind of all happens at the same time. But I know our Vice President Bob Wittenberg will certainly step forward probably into that president role, and they'll elect a new vice president, and then fortunately we have a school board election this fall, and Todd was up for re-election, so there'll have to be somebody step up and take his place. And this community has always found people that are willing to do that. And I guess that's what I would foresee is that again, somebody out there that isn't even thinking of it right now will step up and decide they want to be on the school board, and that would be great for for our system to keep moving forward.
You mentioned something a little earlier that kind of leads me into my last question for you here. You had an opportunity to visit a little bit with the new superintendent.
Yeah.
What advice are you giving him stepping into this role?
I think that the best thing you can do is come in and do a lot of listening and learning right away. Of course, he has not been an administrator in Iowa, so he's certainly got things to learn about some of the things that are unique to Iowa. But really coming in your first year, and it's the same thing I'm going to be doing in Pella, it's do a lot of listening, learn, talk to people, build relationships, get people so that they know who you are, that they trust you, because it is a relationship business, really. It's about getting to know people and have people understand kind of your perspective on things. So I think that's key. And from what I've seen of Terry, he is a really good relationship builder, probably stronger than myself. In my first glance at him, I think he's got a really good way to connect with people. I know in my 45-minute visit with him, just during the interview process, I felt like, wow, I feel like I really know and connected to this guy really fast. So I think community will feel that way. I think teachers will feel that way. I think they'll embrace him pretty fast. And so I think it's working on those and then just listen to people and then see what needs to where we need to go from there. So,
well, Greg, I just want to thank you personally. I've had children in the system the whole time you've been here.
Thanks, Randy.
And thank you for all you have done, and the best of luck to you here in the next few weeks before the transition officially takes place.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot, Randy.
You bet. Thanks for joining us
You
this
bet.
week.
All righty.